hungry man, they say, is an angry man. Nigerians are hungry and therefore angry. The anxiety and tension can be felt everywhere you go. Apologies to MTN. The basic necessities of food, shelter, and clothing, which are taken for granted elsewhere in the world, are still very big issues. How Nigeria navigates out of its present chaotic, tense situation is only a question that can be answered by its leadership and her citizens. That was the submission of a frustrated buyer met in a supermarket. And with that, we welcome you to our breakfast show, Daybreak Niger. My name is Afam Echi, your host. On my program today is a legal practitioner, Barrister Ifeanyi Olumba. He is also a public opinion analyst and a public opinion molder, public affairs analyst and a public opinion molder. He hails from Gedegu. He's so proud of his community, Gedegu. In
Gedegu.
Okay.
LGA.
In our local government area. Barrister, you're welcome to our program.
Thank you so much. Good morning, dear listener.
Yeah. Please remember to like our Facebook page and subscribe to our YouTube platform. He is going to take a look at the current situation we are grappling with. That is the case of rising prices and food insecurity in our land. And Barrister, let me ask you, you know what is happening in our society. You know, we are witnessing a situation of unprecedented rise in price, what the economists describe as inflation.
Yes.
Never witnessed before. I think inflation rate is put at, the last time I looked at the record, it's about 26%. I'm sure it should be higher than that by now. And it is a thing of concern everywhere. Everywhere, people are complaining, people are protesting. We have witnessed protest action in 3 states, Kogi, Niger, and Kano. And the worst of it, or what surprised me, is that it is even the traders that are coming out to protest, to say they are no longer selling, the traders. So it's a thing of concern. I don't know, for you, what do you foresee as the consequences of this rising prices, uncontrolled prices?
Well, it's very unfortunate where we have found ourselves, because Nigeria has never had it so bad before. Judging by the doctrine of utility, let me explain or define utilitarianism.
Okay.
Utilitarianism is a moral philosophy defining the rightness of an action in terms of its contribution to general happiness, and considers the ultimate good to be the greatest happiness for the greatest number. So now you ask yourself, in Nigeria here, how many persons are happy given the hardship, given the difficulties and frustrations of the moment? Nobody, except those in Aso Rock and government houses, various state government houses. And to rub insult in our faces, the central bank governor came out just a few days ago to announce to the whole world that the economy under this administration is better than it used to be before they took over on May the 29th, 2023. How can somebody say such a thing? When you are seeing it happen, people are reacting. They have reacted in Mina. Some were arrested in Kogi and in Kano just recently. And these reactions are spontaneous. Because you don't beat a child and tell the child not to cry. You don't starve your children and tell them not to react. There is a situation here, a kind of that could become something that may lead to the implosion of this nation state.
Okay.
That is the situation.
Okay.
And it's a sad reminder of that track by Peter Tosh. You know, the poor man feels it. In that track, he kept lamenting. He got to find a solution to this pollution. Only the poor man feels it. Rent gone up, formula gone up, rice gone up, green pepper gone up, everything gone up. Bus fare gone up, school fees gone up, everything going up in Nigeria, gone up in Nigeria. How do you expect the people to survive? And now Labour has issued a 14-day kind of ultimatum for the government to do something, or else first protest all over. And you know what that could spell. If Nigerians now, capitalize on that to come out and protest, because only that people see Labour now as a kind of toothless bulldog, all back and without bite. So that's the situation. But if they come together, I'm telling you, by the day, poverty will unite Nigerians, irrespective of tribe or religion. I'm telling you, something catastrophic might happen. Because the leaders are taking the people for granted. Taking Nigerians for granted. The economy is so bad, and then to worsen the whole situation, insecurity. Terror walks the land on two toes. Farmers don't go to farm anymore. Even traders. And I learned that, okay, we'll take it later.
We'll come to that, Barrister. Yeah, now, before we got to this situation, it didn't just happen. Maybe there were a series of actions that precipitated what we are experiencing. Now, what do you think got us to this point? How did we get to this point?
Well, you recall Sonny Okosun's strike too, in the 80s, which were in Nigeria, many years after independence. We are still finding out how to start. So it's been there. And you can trace it to what? Misgovernance and then corruption. And all the, having people, political misfits in power. Those who do not know that politics, to all intents and purposes, is a noble profession, where the welfare of the citizenry is the main objective, not the welfare of the political leaders. They do not understand what governance is. And that is why they keep denying Nigerians genuine democracy. Because without genuine democracy, you will not have a good governance. It's only when the people are allowed to choose their leaders. Like I keep telling you, Raila Odinga aptly captured it by telling Nigerians about 15 years ago when he came to Lagos, Nigerians, you must insist on genuine democracy. And then the pressmen around will ask him, what is this genuine democracy? And he answered, genuine democracy is about freedom of choice. A universal concept that is meaningless without free and fair elections, where the people can choose those who will govern them and dismiss those who have failed them. It is about probity and accountability, rule of law, press freedom, independence of the judiciary. So until you begin to elect your leaders so that when they fail, you vote them out, you will never have good governance. And this problem must continue. When they force themselves on you, that's just the crux of the matter. If you want to solve this problem, let us just have genuine democracy. Or else then you gather Nigerians at a round table. Let them chart their future, the way forward, because it's getting so dangerous.
Yeah, that is what has been difficult to achieve, that genuine democracy. Because you discover that the people who emerge as leaders are not the people's choices. So that's where the problem is, and that is what we've been searching for, the solution we've been searching for. So how do we get out of this thing, genuine democracy? How do we achieve it?
I am a political scientist, aside being a lawyer. And I understand, I know it, that the good of man is the objective of the science of politics. So if we understand this, know that we have this government as a social contract, because all of us cannot be there at the same time.
Yes.
Nigerians must jettison this idea of ethnicity. Yeah. I am from so place, I am a Muslim or a Christian. And then come together to think humanity, to always know that these people are elected or they try to force themselves on us to manage our common resources. Yeah. Once we understand that it is about our future and future of our children unborn, millions of children, generations unborn, then we come together, irrespective of tribe and religion, and tell them, speak truth to power. We can do it. There's nothing in protest so long as it's within the ambit of the law. Yeah. Let it not be violent. Okay. You can go to that National Assembly and ask them questions. Yeah. Because that's why everyone now is looking up to labor, organized labor. Yeah. Forgetting that these people ordinarily are elected leaders. And at a time like this, you begin to hold them accountable. Yeah, you begin to question them, call them home. They are the ones who ought to be speaking out on our behalf. Yeah. The person representing my constituency, at the National Assembly, OCTs now, should be telling the federal authorities, people are suffering.
Down home.
Down home. And then the House of Rep member too. It should be like that everywhere. They are there to represent us, to articulate the deprivations of our people, to articulate the hardship, to draw attention to the plight of their constituents, tell the federal government, because that's why they are there, not for their own selfish interest.
Okay, Barrister, the president on arrival from France ordered for the release of food from the grain reserve. You know, I think for some people, that is an admission that the government is not doing much, that there is more they need to do. You know, and other opinions also hold that that is not enough. So what other things, what other actions, immediate actions that can reverse the situation do you expect from the government?
I want to say it clearly here first, that I see that as diversionary.
Diversionary.
Diversionary. It doesn't capture the desire of Nigerians.
Okay.
You remember last year, we were calling on Mr. President. Why is it that an oil-rich nation is exporting its raw crude only to import it back again as finished product? And the money spent, you know, in doing this now is what you call subsidy. We want our refineries to work. And they even promised December. And they were telling us that Dangote refinery, once it comes on mainstream, you know, everything will be okay. Dangote refinery, whether it's working or not, no impact again. And nobody's talking about that. Even the refineries too. Please, let it be known, enthronement or entrenching, trying to entrench this Almajiri culture will not save the situation. Nigerians don't want to be Almajiris. That's what they are trying to reduce us to.
Yeah.
And be sure that even these grains, 100 metric tons of grains to be distributed will not get to the people. It is diversionary. Let the refineries work. Secure our environment. You have empowered, make the environment enabling enough. You have empowered Nigerians. They are resilient people, hardworking people. They don't like begging. You have given them wings. Let there be constant power supply. Once you have constant power supply, and then the refineries are working, the environment, Nigeria, as a nation state, is secured. Just like it used to be in the 80s. We used to have constant power supply now. Insecurity wasn't like this. Terror wasn't walking our land on two toes. Then you have given them wings, and they are ready to fly. Instead of this handout, instead of creating that conduit pipe called the Ministry of Humanitarian Affairs, to kind of promote the more Almajiri culture. Bringing out this 100 metric tons of grains now to distribute to Nigerians is further entrenchment of Almajiri culture. Okay. It is now our way of life, especially in the southeast here. As an Igbo man, I don't like being dashed on something, even in the family. You don't come home to kind of reduce your people to paupers, to Almajiris. If you want to help your brother, you give him money, you train him. Igbo system, that's our system. You empower him, show him how to fish, and not giving him a fish every day. Soon people will start clapping now, 100 metric tons of rice, grains. And then they will assemble and say, we saw it during the war.
Yeah. And
when they use that policy of, they deny them food. That's not what we want here. Let there be constant power supply. That's one. Then let the refineries work. I keep mentioning constant power supply because in the words of Professor Olatunde Makanju, he said, and I quote, "Electricity is the engine that drives industrialization, which improves communication, helps innovations in science and technology, provides sound care delivery system, and improves citizens' standard of living." Unquote. So if you're thinking you want to improve the economy, or realize the Millennium Development Goals by whatever year without constant power supply, my brother, it will be akin to playing lawn tennis without a racket, table tennis without a bat. It is not going to work. So, but I think it is deliberate. so that we rely on oil, so that we continue to buy. Look at it, there's no light. And you can see that the heat is excruciating. Yeah. Nigerians are suffering. Just the other day, 2-3 days ago, Rivers women protested. Our husband don't even touch us anymore because there's no light in the night. See, from that angle, when people are protesting in Kogi and Mina over hardship, Rivers women are protesting. Our husband don't touch us again because there's no light. Because there's no light underlined. Yeah. So if they could ensure that there's constant power supply, and then God gave us this oil now. Yeah. You understand? At least to better our lot. We only to make money when we export it to other countries. But here, we don't need to be subsidized. We refine for our own local consumption. And my brother, is quite disturbing. Since May last year, when the president made that pronouncement, that not well thought out pronouncement that landed us into this now, subsidy gone, without even getting to office, without even going through the records. Assuming now, it is with sincerity of purpose, billions and trillions of naira I and you have spent buying fuel, diesel, and kerosene. But let them point in one great area and tell us that's where the money lies. Nothing to show.
And instead there is allegations of more corruption.
More corruption, and they're even thinking about how to increase the pump prices again. Just a few days ago, they said there were queues in Lagos. Okay. Why are they subjecting us to this kind of hardship?
Okay, Pastor Olumba. Now, Nigeria is a huge population, you know, and drawing from that, it is seen as a strength. The huge population such as we have is considered a big strength. Now, if from outside, people look at Nigeria as a big market where they come to sell their product, in fact, dump their product on Nigerians. And this huge population size we have is supposed to be utilized to feed ourselves, but we are not feeding ourselves. So what do you think should be the role of leadership here? And given the fact that we have we have land mass, you know, all over, very arable areas, you know, in Nigeria abound, but we are not utilizing them.
Now, listen to me. Just yesterday or 2 days ago, the president directed that at every occasion now, people should recite the national anthem and the pledge.
Okay.
My position is that you inspire people, you inspire them, you bring out the best in them. Through your style of leadership, the way you govern them, if you impact positively in their lives, like Americans, if you put food on their table, if you encourage them, if there's constant power supply, if they see that you are a leader truly, my brother, you don't need to tell them to go out there and you know, start reciting. Respect is earned. That is where you inspire patriotism. As a father, you don't deny your family good life. You don't provide for them. And then you kind of very corrupt, come home drunk every night when they are hungry, and then you begin to demand, why haven't you greeted me? You understand? You earn respect. You command respect. You don't demand it. So as a leader, you lead by example. Once you lead by example, you inspire them.
They follow you.
They follow you. Honestly, that is just the issue. So the kind of leadership we have here, I am going to be blunt. The kind of leaders we have are very clueless. They do not know what agriculture means in the life of a nation. They don't understand. Now you're talking about food security. You're talking about how to improve it, to provide food, to the point of even exporting. With terror walking the land on two toes, nowhere is safe. Just in Niger State and some other states yesterday, Boko Haram slaughtered a lot of people. How some of these people are farmers? Are they spirits? How are they going to get to their farmlands? That is the crux of the matter. Terror walks the land. We have arrived at Hobetian state of nature, where life is short, nasty, brutish, solitary, insecure. That is why we must keep telling them, enabling environment. Who is talking about foreign investors anymore? Have you forgotten about some years ago when it wasn't this dangerous? Yeah. Some Israelis came to invest in Kwara State. To invest in agriculture, cattle rearing and all those things. But what do we have? The only interest they have is allowing herdsmen move all over. That is the only interest in agriculture. Deadly herdsmen, killer herdsmen. And then, what about other farmers? No, nobody defends them. Look at what is happening in Plateau. Look at what is happening in Benue. And you know the role Benue and these two states plays in agriculture.
And food basket.
Food basket, of course, now. So it's not far-fetched, my brother. If they want the kind of a nation to be assured, of food security, on food security, let them protect farmers. When Boko Haram, terrorists, bandits, vermin of society capture these people and slit open their throat, do you want them to go and risk their lives? Farming for who? To feed who? Even though it pains them, because that's their source of livelihood. Yeah. Source of livelihood. But they're helpless because nobody is protecting them. If these people eventually kill them, you will see, people in power taking sides with the killer herdsmen. Killer herdsmen. Why can't these people have their own ranches? Yeah. Why can't herdsmen have ranches, just like it is done in other countries? Must they be moving all over, uncontrolled, trampling upon farmlands, destroying, even in Anambra here, even in Imo here.
In Imo.
And once you raise your voice, they hack you. Yeah. And nobody will talk.
Help is not coming from the security operatives.
How do you wish to promote agriculture? Is that the way to encourage people to go into farming in order to help feed the nation? When you know it is very, very dangerous. In your community, you will just be there watching a herdsman move his head of cattle into your farmland, and you are helpless. You cannot call police, you cannot call anybody. And they will destroy these things, what you labor to plant. And if you talk, they hack you down. Is that the way to encourage people to indulge in farming? Is that the way to promote farming? It's not the way now.
Okay, Barrister, let's talk about the ultimatum coming from, just like you mentioned, NLC, TUC,
organized labor.
Organized labor, have issued a 14-day ultimatum. Last week, or is it this week, the student union too, NANS, issued a 14-day ultimatum. If you take your mind back to the NSAS era, that was a protest action from the youths of Nigeria, concentrated more in the south of Nigeria. Now, these actions now, the present actions are originating from the north. The three states I mentioned earlier on, have protested. NANS have issued ultimatum. The organized labor have also joined in issuing ultimatum. Assuming all of these actions crystallizes, and looking at the way Nigeria is, do you think the government has what it takes, the capacity to contain the outcome?
That is why people like us, public affairs analysts, those who monitor and gauge the mood of the pulse of the people, keep warning them. Please, do not take the docility of Nigerians for granted. Do not see them as weaklings. Stop playing this ethnic card. Stop using ethnicity and religion to divide them. Because if hunger, poverty succeeds in uniting them, not even 1,000 brutal war machines can slow them down. I am telling you, the way it is now, things are so difficult. And the hardship knows no religion. It knows no ethnic background. Look at, just the other day, say Tinubu, say to even some clergy, Muslim clerics, who are kind of supported his election, are now coming out, even in Europe, from Southwest too. A lot of people are coming out. So it is dangerous, the way it is going, because it's going to be spontaneous. They should know, we all know that Nance, a kind of the leadership of Nance is not what it used to be. But for them to come out now to speak out, speaks volumes. And then for NLC, TUC, and the other various arms of organized labor, civil society organization, coming out now to see another kind of 14-day ultimatum. If these people, these organizations come out together, and then the people equally join them, it's going to be massive. It's going to be massive. Nobody prayed for any kind of revolution. Nobody prayed for any kind of violent protest. But even if they decide to occupy certain places, sensitive places, you can't stop them. You understand? You remember what happened in the Philippines sometime? During Marcos, the era of Marcos. At a point, even the soldiers
joined.
Yes. A major was telling those his soldiers under his command, don't shoot them, they are our people, and we are part of the people. That was how it crumbled. Because they equally feel the heat. They equally, it's just, all it takes is for people to come together.
And I guess that is the same situation we're experiencing here.
That is the same situation. It is too difficult. Just that some people can't speak out, can't complain. In the police, if you are feeling it so bad now, and you will want to express yourself, you say I. That's also in the armed forces. I. You don't say we. Because if you say we, they are becoming like-minded. And then there will be this fear of something else. But if you allow them get to that point, you see some soldiers, even kind of the other way, soldiers on war front, fighting Boko Haram, even water. Even we are digging the desert to get water. That's a rough area. Their welfare, you should equally think about it too. They are Nigerians. These policemen, DSS, Air Force, Army, Navy, Civil Defense, they are our people. And they feel the pains too. And they are people's children too. They feel the pulse of their families, the pulse of their relatives. Let the leaders not take this thing for granted. Nobody wishes Nigeria evil. But the hardship is becoming too excruciating that the people can no longer endure. By the time you see it happen in Mina, they came out Kogi and Kano. It's going round and round and round. By the time it spreads like wildfire, I don't know how we are going to control it with the level of the insecurity that is there. Are the soldiers now going to leave the bushes where they are fighting terror to come to the streets and start chasing people around? Let's not overstretch them.
Okay, but
it's just through good governance.
Yeah, Barrister, before I let you go, one more question. Maybe I think you can handle that in a minute. Now, let's play it the other way. Now, I want you to look at what the citizens' actions represent, as a way to bridge this gap. We have the land. Let me localize the situation. Like in Imo State right now, we have what the areas we call the food basket. You look at the Almajiri, Eboma, Oguta axis. You also look at the Ngopala area. Now, there are farming opportunities, huge potentials in those areas. We have our youths roaming around the streets. There are no inhibitions. Nothing is restricting anybody to pick the hoe to go and farm. Remember, take your mind back in the past when we used to have yam bank. There was a time there was not this hunger in Igbo land. There was not this hunger. We were able to handle that because of our actions. Every person was farming. We used to have a backyard garden, they call them Mbala in my own area. All of this. So, these things are still there. So, what do you think the citizens should do themselves to close the gap, not relying on government? Because we know government has failed us.
Not even only government, we equally.
Okay.
We equally,
We are afraid of
community leaders, traditional rulers, religious leaders,
Yes.
by pointing our youth in the wrong direction.
Okay.
You inspire them, when you lead by example. But not when you, as a traditional ruler, you come out now to confer, kind of titles on people who are not deserving. Why not confer these titles on farmers, great farmers, who have distinguished themselves? Then you are pointing the younger ones in the right direction. Be like him. That's another area of life, to be a farmer. I'm not a kind of bringing Yahoo people and conferring titles on honoring them, even in churches too. You see people bring their things, their products, plantain, fowl, and all those things, yam, during harvest and bazaar. Do you celebrate any of them? You don't celebrate any of them. Rather, you bring a con artist, you bring a known Yahoo boy to be the chairman of the day.
Criminal politician.
I'm telling you, and there you'll be buying this one, plantain 1 million naira. That little about that beef fowl there, 2 million naira. You are celebrating, not even the peasants, the farmer. Why not bring out this yam? Look at our brother. He's a farmer. He produced this. He reared this fowl, that goat. Let us celebrate him. But you are celebrating a little Yahoo boy with tattoo all over his body. You are telling these younger ones, be like him. As a reverend father, as a pastor, as a deacon, as a general overseer. So one, does it not answer your question? Let us celebrate great men like that. Farmers, honestly, let us celebrate them just the same way we should be celebrating teachers.
Okay.
By that, you point the younger ones in the right direction. Let us go back to farmland again. So it's a very great way of life. My father was a very big, great farmer, poultry farmer, renowned.
Okay.
Even in yam, the biggest yam I ever seen in this world. I'm not lying.
Okay.
Yes, carried by about 5-6 men. I'm telling you, Olu.
Wow.
A kind of a suffering.
Okay, this is where we draw the curtain. Barrister Ifeanyi Olumba, thank you for being part of our program.
Thank you so much.
I hope you will continue to oblige us anytime we need your attention.
I will always be here.
Viewers, this is where we round off the program, and our guest has been able to tell us that electricity is the engine room we need to drive development and industrialization. And he has spotted our leaders as being clueless and has no interest in farming. And instead of working the land, he finds it difficult that he reasons that with that situation, farmers are not free to go and cultivate the land. And he's redirecting attention that people should begin to honor farmers, and then that is by pointing towards that direction, the youth will follow suit and not honoring criminal politicians, Yahoo men. And with that, we round off the program, and we ask you to continue to stay safe and be part of our program subsequently. My name again is Afam80. Thank you for enjoying our program. Please remember to like our Facebook page and subscribe to our YouTube platform.